What's up, everyone? So there is a ton to talk about. There has been a bunch of different modeling units that have been announced recently, or updates that are coming out for them, and also a few rumored multi-effects units. So we're gonna talk about all of that today. I'm gonna share my opinions with you, so let's get into it. Hey, what's up, everyone? Welcome back to Sunday Tone. I'm Brendan, and hey, if you are new to this channel, please consider subscribing to the channel to see more videos just like this one. I make a ton of videos all about modeling units, multi-effects units, and just how we can use them effectively, whether it be on a Sunday morning or at a gig that you're playing. So something interesting has happened kind of over the past month or so when it comes to the world of modeling units, kind of all-in-one multi-effects, pedals, and amp modeling. And what has happened is there's become kind of this new war of companies kind of one-upping each other with different features, different updates, or different units. So we've seen things like the Neural DSP Nano Cortex be announced. We've seen Kemper come out with their updates where you can pay to have more features added to the Kemper player. And then we saw Tonex kind of answer that with their free update that will allow you to add effects like modulation and delay to your Tonex units. And all while that's kind of swirling around and happening, you have this rumor of this new Fractal pedal. And I think we have a little bit more information about that today. I believe it's called the VP4, and it's kind of be an effects unit, almost like the HX effects, or kind of like an HX stomp maybe, but without the amps. But it actually sounds like in the next week or so, we should get the official announcement on that and have a little bit more information on it. So I think this is a really interesting time for us as guitar players, just to see companies coming out with new innovative things, coming out with updates that can improve the products that we already have, or kind of rehashing some of their products in different form factors. And when you take a look at all of the larger modeling units like the Quad Cortex, the Helix, some of the Fractal units, and the Head Rush, all these large kind of pedal board replacement units, for me, I have always been drawn to the Quad Cortex. I think it's the interface of it, it's the encoder knobs, just the whole way that it's laid out. I've really liked it from a design perspective and a way that you would interact with it. And I honestly don't have one, but I have been thinking if I do go that route ever, that I would go with the Quad Cortex. All that to say, when rumors popped up that Neural DSP was coming out with a smaller unit, I had a lot of hopes for that. I was really excited for that, and I kind of felt a little let down when they announced the Nano Cortex. I was hoping it would be more along the lines of something like the HX Stomp, where you could have a bunch of blocks and kind of move them around, but just in a smaller format with less DSP than the Quad Cortex. And I'm sure you've watched a bunch of videos about it already, but that's obviously not what we got. But I think it's an interesting time that we are living in, where we have these units that can be completely changed, completely updated through software updates, similar to what Kemper is doing. So the Kemper player was released, I think, 6 months or more ago. And since then, I think there was a lot of questions of like, oh, I wish it could do this. I wish it had the effects, some of the things that the larger units had. And Kemper really answered that with this new update where you can pay to have more features, you can pay to have more effects, you can pay to have some of like the morphing features and whatnot. But it's an interesting idea, being able to have a unit where you pay to have more features that it might already have in it. It's kind of like this in-app purchase thing, like on your phone, or I think car companies like Tesla will have features where it's like all the cars are the same, But if you want to pay to have this feature, you can have that feature downloaded to your car. But it kind of gets a little interesting because you already have the car, you already have the unit that can do the thing, but we're asking you to pay more money to be able to use that. But let me know in the comments, what do you think about that? What do you think about paying for updates to give your unit more features? And for me, it seems like a lot of money when you have a unit that already costs, I think, around $700, $800. It seems like if I wanted to pay that much, I would go and get a big Kemper anyways, but I can see why you would want those features in a small unit like that. So then you have Tonex come in and announce this update that they're gonna be adding a ton of modulation effects, delay, and a couple of other features for free for Tonex 1 and for the Tonex larger pedal as well as the Tonex software. And I think what they're really doing is starting to take things from the Amplitude software and kind of migrate it into Tonex, make it kind of a easy thing to add on to amp captures that you already have and set up a couple different presets. Now, I don't know how that will work when you're using something like the Tonex 1. How will you just have 2 presets to switch between? It seems like a set of features that will work really nicely with the larger Tonex units. So I'm excited to see how all of that works and how it's implemented. I can see how you could have, 3 different presets, whether it be a verse, a chorus, and an ambient setting that you can switch between right on the front of, your larger Tonex pedal. So I think that could be really cool. And I think it's very interesting to see Tonex come out with these features for free. I guess time will tell how great the features actually are, how great they actually sound. I know myself, I don't have a ton of experience with any of their other pedals or with Amplitude and the effects that you get there. But I think they're kind of taking a page out of the Line 6 book, where Line 6 continues to add these huge updates to the Helix and to the HX Stump that add new amps and add new effects and add all kinds of cool things that take this product that they've had for years and make it feel completely new again, which I think is really cool, and I think we should support companies that do that. And it's exciting to see Tonex do that. So for me, I held off on ordering the Nano Cortex because I just wasn't sure how I would integrate it with my pedal board and how I would make it work for me. I thought about using it as kind of a smaller rig with maybe a few overdrives or something, but I still don't understand how you would use tap tempo with it and how I would change some of the things. So it's kind of a little bit of a letdown to me. I've heard clips of it, and I think it sounds amazing. And I think the feature of being able to capture amps with it is really cool. And I think it could be an awesome bass rig or an awesome acoustic rig where you're using acoustic IRs and a couple of effects in there when you need them. But really for bass, I think it's amazing. I think I'm at some point might get one just for using on bass. But that brings up the question, 6 months, a year down the line, does Neural DSP come out with an update where you can switch out to different effects in kind of their library of effects, where you can kind of switch the order of things? Right now, it kind of seems very locked down. And I don't know if that's something they did on purpose just to make the UI really easy to use, or if it's like a price point thing where they feel like they don't want to affect the sales of the Quad Cortex. I'm sure all of this kind of stuff was in their minds when they made the decisions that they did. But I think ultimately the power that's inside of the Nano Cortex is probably capable of those different sounds. It's just whether or not will they make an update available that adds some of that kind of stuff. And I think with the Kemper update, they kind of have to answer with something at some point, as well as the Tonex update. Ultimately, it is great to have competition in the marketplace like this for us guitar players, because companies will continue to have to, get better on price while also getting better on features and updates and all of these things. So it's a lot to consider, but I'm excited for just the competition and the new products that are being announced, because it's just gonna force these companies to innovate more and to provide more features that are gonna be great for us guitar players. But let me know in the comments below, what units are you excited for? We didn't talk about it, but there's also the new universal audio pedals as well as their plugins they've announced. So there's just a ton of modeling and effects units and plugins that have been coming out recently. So it's an exciting time to try a lot of things and figure out what works for you, what features work for you, and what kind of format works for you. But let me know in the comments, let me know what you're excited about, and I will see you all in the next one.